Hi Darshan.
Hi Yoshi.
Good evening all. Shadow education. In Sri Lanka, we have a free education system. Even though we have free education system, majority of school children try to get extra knowledge from different paths. In here, we call it as shadow education system.
When it comes to shadow education, we could see that there are many different forms of entities in Sri Lankan context. For example, there are individual group classes,
Daycare centers,
preschool,
sports classes,
music classes,
cookery classes,
flower decoration classes,
astronomy classes,
computer classes,
language classes,
motor mechanic classes,
phone repairing classes,
yoga classes,
external degree classes,
professional classes.
shadow education. This has a powerful impact on the economic welfare of the household in Sri Lanka.
It seems to be there are more than 200,000 teachers in the industry.
Other than that, there are thousands of sub-related jobs such as class coordinators and workers, security officers, designers and suppliers within the industry.
Further, there are many jobs has been created out of the industry. For instance, transport services, bookshops, restaurants, mass and social media and many more.
SIPWIN Institute is one of the leading institutes in shadow education industry. It provides facilities to the students from grade 6 to advanced level. The institute expanded its services by conducting classes for diverse examinations including professional accountancy, external degrees and banking.
SIPWIN Institute is located at a prime location in the heart of the Kurunagal town with more than 25,000 students. Now, you may have a clue about the person that we want to interview.
It's not just a story, it is a true story of a small boy with big dreams.
He believed that the education is the key to overcome the poverty. So, he put all his efforts on his studies. As a result of his hard work and dedication, he was able to make a milestone in his life that he got the access to the University of Sri Jayawardena.
Remember, sleepless nights and early mornings will surely pay off you one day. So everyone, we are at the latter part of the successful story. Let me present you the personality behind it. He is a dearly father, a person with humanity, a humble guider, an excellent leader, none other than senior lecturer Gunapala Rathnasekara.
He is a senior lecturer at University of Sri Jayawardena, president of SLPP Professional Lecturers Association with more than 1,000 members in the shadow education industry, a producer of Maharaja Gamanu and Adikathamu,
a writer of Vidudaya Education magazine from the beginning, a writer and editor of accounting books which published by Government Publication Department, and founder of Eknil Homes Property Company. So let's start our interview.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Let me ask you the first question, sir. How was your organization performed before COVID-19 and what are the strategies that you have used?
Actually, before COVID-19, we performed very well because we had our own objectives. We conducted classes for different kind of courses. Basically, for all the stream advanced level, some few classes were there for O level. In addition to that, we had classes for professional courses like chartered, double AT, banking, and some other courses. So they are external degrees. Now all these courses were conducted very well. Then our intake was very high. Actually, sometimes our intake was higher than we expected. I believe that this is our SIPWIN institution is the largest institution in this sector or field. Therefore, actually what we expect we could reach before COVID-19. Then all the students were very happy. Then I believe we fulfill all the requirement of the students. Compared to the school education, we provided best service to them. Therefore, from the organization point of view, we achieved our objectives. From the students' point of view, they achieved their objectives. Ultimately, that we face win-win situation. That's why we continue our institution, the most established institution.
So my question is, how did the coronavirus pandemic affect the shipping institution and tuition industry in Sri Lanka?
Actually, that I think I couldn't tell something about the strategies what we used earlier before COVID. Actually, at the beginning point, starting point of the tuition field, I think that there were no any facilities for both students and teachers. I think in Kurnagal area, SIPWIN is the first institution who introduced air-conditioned classes. Then earlier that I also worked in some other institution as a teacher, but we faced difficulties. At least we did not have there's a toilet. Therefore, that facilities from the point of view, there are very less facilities in the institution. Actually, it is not suitable to both teachers as well as students. Therefore, basically, we decided to establish an institution with all the facilities. Therefore, compared to the other institution, we introduced all the facilities required for both teachers and students. That was our actually the turning point of the tuition sector. I mean, after that, all the other institutions are also converted into that type. Now we have to face another problem. We have to convert our institution to the next steps that we are planning for that. Then other thing is our success was based on education quality. Actually, with the now there are various problems in school education. That is the reason for coming students to our institution. Therefore, we as a strategy, we always try to maintain the education quality. Then other side that most of the students are coming from rural areas. They are very poor. Therefore, we had another strategy that we charge the minimum class fees. I think education quality, then facilities of the organization, then ultimately goodwill what established, then these things were affected our success before COVID-19. Then you ask now after COVID-19, then what is the impact? Actually, that I think it is easy to understand. First of all, under the first wave of the COVID-19, we closed our institutions March 13. Then up to July, middle of the July, all the institutions were closed. No income. Actually, under the first wave, we did not introduce online classes also at the beginning of the period. Ultimately, for March, April, May, June, and half of the July, the institutions were closed. That we did not get any income for from the students, but we had to incur expenses, salaries, wages, then EPF, ETF, then some other compulsory expenses we had to incur. Then we faced so many difficulties because of the loss of income. Without no income, I think any organization cannot be run. That we faced the same situation. Anyway, fortunately, the first wave of the COVID-19 were controlled by the government successfully. Ultimately, we started middle of the July our classes. Then again, we came same position. Then actually that in the month of August or September, successfully all the students came to the classes again. Then we came back to normal. But again, October, middle of the October, after 1 week, again we closed the institutions without government intervention or government force. we ourselves, for the sake of the students, then we are responsible for the lives of the students. Therefore, we close the institutions. Then, up to this point, up to end of this month, total institutions were closed. We faced the same problems, but at the beginning of this second wave, we tried to, or we introduced online classes. Now, actually, that as I told you, most of the students are coming from rural areas. They don't have facilities to participate for the online classes. Actually, in most of the areas like Algamo, Giribaba, then Yapawa, Nikavarati, in these areas, actually the signal is not available. Therefore, sometimes for some students, at least the smart telephone is not available with them. Therefore, they were facing difficulties. Ultimately, we reached 50% or 40% of the total intake. They only have the sufficient facilities. Anyway, that from the month of November, we started online classes. Now it is going on successfully for few number of students, not for all, because all the students cannot participate for these classes. Anyway, that courses can be conducted successfully up to some extent, but we are not fully happy about that system. Anyway, that some students are getting benefit from this, but some students are not getting benefit. They don't have that facility, therefore they are unable to get this facility.
So, as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, many organizations implemented online teaching methods. While implementing online teaching methods, students have faced different issues. To identify those issues, we interviewed 2 students from different areas. Let's focus on those 2 interviews.
කොහොමද නංගීති අපිට ඔයාගේ නම කියන්න බලන්න
Zahara. මම grade 13.
එතකොට ඔයා ඔන් ක්ලාසස් වලට එහෙම යන්නේ කොහොමද
කොළඹවට තමයි මම ක්ලාසස් යන්නේ.
හරි එතකොට මේ දවස්වල ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාසස් තමා යනවා නැත්තේ නේද කොහොමද ඔයා දැන් කලින් ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාසස් වලට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා අද වෙනකොට ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාසස් වලට සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා මේ දෙක අතර වෙනස දැනෙන්නේ කොහොමද
ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාස් එකට වඩා ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාස් එකේ හොඳට අවධානය යොමු කරගෙන ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාස් එකට යනවා නම් අපි වාහනයක යන්න ඕනේ, ඒ වගේම ඇඳුම් ලෑස්ති වෙන්න ඕනේ, ඒ වගේ ඒකට ගොඩක් වෙලා නාස්ති වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාස් එක අපිට ඕන විදියට අපිට පහසු විදියකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට මොනවා හරි මගහැරුණා නම් තේරුන්නේ නැත්නම් තිබ්බනම් ඒක ආපහු අපිට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්.
හරි නංගි එහෙනම් thank you අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වුණාට. මල්ලි කොහොමද ඉතින්?
හොඳින් ඉන්නවයි. මම නිකිල් ආශේර්.
නිකිල් කොහෙද ඉන්නේ?
මම ඉන්නේ කුරුණෑගල.
මේ දවස්වල මං හිතන්නේ ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාසස් වලට යනවා ඇති. කොහොමද ඔයාලට එතකොට ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාසස් වි ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාසස් වි අතර වෙනස තේරෙන්නේ කොහොමද ඔයාලට?
ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාස් වි ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාස් වි ගත්තොත් අයියේ අර පරිසර දෙක වෙනස්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාසස් එක තියෙන්නේ අපි ඉන්න ඩිවයිස් එකක් ඉස්සරහා ඒකෙන් අපි සර් කියන එක අහගෙන ඉන්න අර වටේ පිටේ මේ ප්‍රශ්න හින්දා පොඩ්ඩක් අමාරුයි. ඒ වගේම අයියේ මේ සිග්නල් ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මගේ යාළුවෝ ඉන්නවා එයාලගේ සමහර කට්ටිය තාත්තලා ගෙවල් වල ඒ කියන්නේ අර එක දේවල් හදලා තියෙනවා නිකන් පැල් වගේ නිකන් උරට ගිහලා සිග්නල් ගන්න. එයාලා ඉතින් උරට නැගලා සිග්නල් ගන්නවා මේ ක්ලාස් එකට ක්ලාස් වලට යන්න. ඒක හින්දා කනෙක්ෂන් එකපාර හිර වෙනවා. ඒක වීඩියෝස් එකපාර හිර වෙනවා. පොඩ්ඩක් අමාරුයි. ඒ වගේම එකපාර කරන්ට් එක ගියාම එතන කනෙක්ෂන් එතන ඩවුන් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ පොඩි පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න ටිකක් තියෙනවා.
හරි මල්ලි එහෙනම් thank you අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වුණාට.
හරි අයියේ okay.
So, as these interviews, they are facing different kind of issues. So, sir, my question is, considering these issues, what is your opinion on online teaching?
Actually, that if we apply any kind of strategy or method or system, or any kind of method or system, there are advantages as well as disadvantages. For some students now, if we take physical classes, there are advantages as well as disadvantages. Then again, if we consider about the online classes, there are some advantages and disadvantages. For some students, in the physical class, advantages are higher than disadvantages. But for some students, in online classes, advantages are higher than the disadvantages. Ultimately, that I believe that as a teacher, that live we can teach in physical classes, because in online classes we have to speak to the camera. Then there is no live picture we cannot see, that we can see only the camera. Therefore, we can't see the students, we can't see the reaction of the students, we cannot understand that whether they understand or not. Therefore, that is one side. Other thing is, there are some advantages in online classes, as that student said. There are now they have to spend more time to go and come back to the classes. Then they have to spend more money, because traveling charges are there, some other pocket money is required. Therefore, that expenses is somewhat higher. Then other thing is risk. Under this COVID-19 pandemic, that all the people are facing the risk. Therefore, that in online classes, that completely it can be removed. Therefore, the advantages are there. But anyway, the pathetic situation is, for some students in Kurnagal area, more than 50% students, they don't have this facility. Therefore, ultimately, they don't have any system or method to understand except self-study. That they have their own self-study method. Otherwise, they cannot get any support from the external party under this situation. The most of the students are coming to tuition classes because they are not getting they are not getting subject matters or materials what they need from the schools and other sources. Sometimes they cannot maintain their self-learning. Most of the students are not like to that. Therefore, they are coming to the tuition classes. Then these kind of students are not getting this chance. Therefore, they are there. We are here. Then they have no chance to study. Therefore, I think in A-level, this is the largest syllabus. Should be completed at once without any midterm test or something, that we have to use 2.5 years. Then this is 2.5 year course. I think this is the largest or lengthy syllabus in the world, maybe. Therefore, that it will take more time. But online, I think sometimes in the physical classes, we taught to the students for 8 hours per day. Sometimes, especially in revision classes, all the teachers are teaching at least 8 hours. But in online classes, I think we can use only maximum up 4 hours. It is not sufficient. Then we have to train the students, we have to discuss the papers, we have to cover the syllabus. Then by considering this matter, that coverage, then physical class is better than online classes. Then reaction of the students can be seen. Then we can go to the class and we can ask them whether they understand or not. Then if he or she is facing the problem, then we can explain him separately. Then the students are coming in the interval or before starting the class. Most of the students are coming and they are asking their own problems. We can solve these problems. Then interaction is very high. Therefore, we can use interactive teaching in physical classes, but we can't use interactive teaching method in online classes. I believe that interactive teaching method is better than the online classes. Therefore, as a teacher, I prefer to physical class.
Sir, our next question is, what are the actions taken by your organization to deliver an effective educational services for your students to obtain maximum productivity for your organization?
Actually, that students who are expecting our service, our strategy is we are giving the maximum service to them. Basically, that we know the students have their own expectations differently, but we selected what we should do, because all the students are not engaging studies well, because they have their own some other objectives. But as teachers, we have to build up the students to go to some target. Therefore, that all the courses are conducted, especially A-level classes, are conducted by giving the expectation to the students about the university admissions. Therefore, we are always talking to the students about the university and higher educations. Therefore, by keeping the degree as a target, by keeping degree as the target, by keeping the university selection as the target, we conduct the classes to the students. Then ultimately, our objective is to pay them a path, that will show them a path to go to the universities and to get the degree. Actually, that most of the methods which are using the tuition classes are same in most of the institutions. We are giving tunes, then we cover the entire syllabus. Again, we discuss the papers. Then within the class that we give opportunity to the students to give answers. Then we mark the answer script. Then ultimately marks are given to the students. Then sometimes that we motivate them by giving some prizes, who won the first place, second place, third place, like that. Then always that we are searching about the students. Sometimes they can ask any kind of questions after finishing the class. We are staying until the last students are go out. Therefore, they can solve their own problems, all the problems. Then we are waiting for the problems. Then students are coming. Then ultimately we can lead them to the successful education system. That is the strategy. Actually, that the most important thing is we maintain quality education level as our main strategy.
So, sorry for disturb for you, sir. Sir, I have a question. Sir, what are the short-term and long-term measures and strategies that your organization and industry have taken to survive this pandemic?
Under this pandemic situation, now I think after 4 months, after starting the second wave of the COVID pandemic, I think after 4 months, from the beginning of the February, government, especially that health ministry, has given opportunity to classes to conduct the classes for the number of students not exceeding 100. By keeping the other conditions or regulations or guidelines, by applying all these guidelines, that by limiting the number of students to the 100, they have given permit to the classes to conduct these courses. But anyway, that all the classes, I think, in our institution, our total number of students are higher than 100. Therefore, we are facing difficulty how to select the 100. Then ultimately, we inform the students by using our database and other our groups to register for the physical classes, the students who are not engaging in the online classes. Therefore, we advise the students, those who are engaging in the online classes, they should continue the same method. Then for the students who don't have this facility, we are trying to conduct the physical class for them. Then ultimately, now in these days, we are getting some effort to select few students not exceeding 100. for the physical classes. Actually, that it is very difficult task because some students are there, they are engaging in the online classes, but they don't have facilities sufficiently that they use the telephone, then sometimes signal, sometimes that electricity power failure may be there, and sometimes some technical problems are there. We are also facing the same situation. Therefore, some students, even though they are participating for these online classes, but they always trying to enter into physical class. But anyway, that after selecting the students who don't have this facility, we are going to conduct this class from the month of February. Ultimately, that we can serve from one side in the physical class at least 400 students in a single class. From the other side, online classes what we conducted up to this time. Therefore, actually the strategies was to secure or protect all the students that who are registered in our institution as students. We have to provide service. We try to, then other thing is we are expecting to conduct classes for 2 or more groups in different time without gathering the students a large number, because health ministry advised to us not to allow the students to gather as a large crowd. Therefore, we also believe that we accept that figure, because this pandemic is now it is coming to serious situation or dangerous situation. We also can understand, but strategically we are handling that all the guidelines given by the health sector. We are going to conduct the classes by applying these guidelines. It is also considered as a strategy. Then otherwise, even though the classes are closed, schools are closed, universities are closed, now total number of people are more than 58,000 now. Therefore, that for this pandemic, the classes and schools were not contributed to expand these people. Therefore, that we can use this as a communication system to prevent the people from this disease. We advise the students how to behave, how to use the health conditions or health now these guidelines. Then ultimately sometimes students will convert to some different level under this pandemic situations according to our advice.
So in this pandemic period, what are the specific supports given by the government side and further expectations from government for the tuition industry?
Actually, that from the government side, for the tuition classes, there is no special support. Even before the COVID-19 situation, some authorities are giving the authority to do this one. Otherwise, that then sometimes that local authorities, they are providing their services to collect garbage and other things that to keep the institution as clean. Like that, indirect support there. In addition to that, government was not giving any support to the tuition classes actually. Within this pandemic situation also, we are not getting, my view is, we are not getting any support from the government. Actually, that the government has no idea to close down these classes. I personally know President, Prime Minister, then other leaders of the government, they are trying to open the classes, and they are trying to open the entire economic. Now they are trying to get the economy back to the normal situation. It can be considered as new normal situation. Therefore, government view, I know very well. Therefore, this problem is with the health sector. Now, health people are always trying to prevent the people from this pandemic. Therefore, they are giving guidelines by keeping this objective as their main objective. Therefore, the now government view and the health sector view sometimes this is somewhat differ, but ultimately that authority has been given to the health DG. Therefore, ultimately, he is the person who implement this act and this law. Therefore, ultimately, government has to accept what the health sector is saying. Then, therefore, according to the guidelines and advice given by the health sector to the government is doing their work. Therefore, that tuition classes are not getting very good support from the government, and there is no actually any limitation from the government side, but the health sector side there are some limitations.
Thank you, sir, for that explanation. So my question is, what are the future prospects that can be observed with regard to maintain the service quality in the industry?
Within this COVID pandemic situation, our strategy may differ. Actually, now I have already planned, it is completed to enhance the physical quality as well as the education quality of the institution, entire institution. We have discussed with our lecturers and teachers. Therefore, in future, after finishing this COVID pandemic situation, now we are going to use some other new strategies which cannot be expressed now. Then ultimately, I believe that this can convert the new normal situation with the strategies that we are going to follow. But within the pandemic situation, except online classes as well as this limited physical classes, we don't have any other strategy for using this one. But after now the vaccine is available from tomorrow onwards, therefore we have some expectation. Actually, we believe that this will come back to normal. At that time, by using some other newer strategies, by enhancing the quality, then upgrading the institution, then we are going to conduct our classes well.
So, what are the opportunities that can be exploited by students and businessmen during this pandemic?
No, actually, that now earlier our market, we saw all the goods came from the other countries. Our trade balance was very high because our imports are very low, very high, but exports are very low. Ultimately, we faced foreign exchange trouble. But this is very good opportunity to develop our own economy, local economy. Therefore, that local production can be increased with this situation. That is very good opportunity. Therefore, in now government policy is also to produce what we can produce here. All the things should be produced within the country without import them. But some essential items may be there. We don't have any option. Therefore, we have to import them like fuel. Essential things can be imported. Then import expenses can be minimized. Ultimately, local production can be increased. Then ultimately, it can be exported up to some extent. At least for the local market, we can produce. First of all, we have to protect the local market without getting imported items. We secure our local market to our own business people. Then, if possible, we can think about the export market. Anyway, that limiting the imports and increasing the export, limiting the import, then we can have a very good chance or very good opportunity to increase the economic growth or the development of the country can be achieved by using this local economy strategy. This is especially production oriented strategy.
My question is, what are the future expectations in next coming years in SIPWI?
Future expectations in the coming years, it can be think. Now actually we have our own targets, what we cannot express now publicly. Anyway, that we believe, as I told you earlier, we believe that this pandemic situation can be sorted out within a very short period. It will go up to sometimes maybe 6 months, but after that we can come back to normal. Then, as I told you, by applying our new strategies, we try to get this institution into the top level of the industry in Sri Lanka.
So, any advices for students?
No, the only advice is they have to use their convenience method to continue the study. The only advice is please continue the study by using any strategy. Your own self-study or online classes or digital classes. So I think best thing is self-study. There are various materials are there. There are various sources are there. Therefore, by using these various sources, you continue your study because that this will come back to normal.
So, we have discussed so many things up to now. Now it is time to wind up this interview. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and sharing your valuable information with us. Have a good day, sir. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.